This holiday season, get ready to unwrap the most magnificent holiday homes with Homeworthy's 25 Days of Christmas. For the month of December, we'll take you inside the most heartwarming houses, decked out for the holidays in true festive fashion. From twinkling lights and elegantly trimmed trees to sparkling ornaments and cozy holiday charm, these homes capture the warmth, wonder, and beauty that make this season so special. So join us as Homeworthy celebrates 25 days of Christmas. The magic starts now.
Raise your glass. Cheers! Merry Christmas! Happy holidays!
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Courtney. Welcome to my home in Monroe, North Carolina. Let me show you around. My name is Courtney and I'm the face behind the brand Heart and Home Crew, and today we are in my historic home in downtown Monroe. So my husband and I actually lived in Canada, and about 2 years ago we decided to make the move to North Carolina where my family is, and we were looking for a home but we couldn't find one right away, so we actually moved in with my mom, and we thought it would be a short stay. We have 4 children. We're only going to be here a month, Mom, no worries. And it turned into a year, and that was mainly just because we had to get my husband his citizenship, so it took a minute. But while we were searching, honestly, we were just looking for something that would kind of get us started. We weren't really looking for a forever home, and I came across this beautiful home, but I said, no, it's out of my price range. I'm not even gonna look at it. And so we kept searching, but nothing was coming up. And so we just gave it to God, we gave it time. And then my realtor actually pulled it up and said, hey, have you seen this listing? And I said, I sure have, and it is beautiful, but there's absolutely no way we could do this. And she said, well, it's been sitting for a while, it needs a bit of work, and I know that you want some DIY projects, and so let's just go take a look at it. And so we did, and we walked inside and my heart was aflutter with butterflies. I was so at home already, and you know, it's one of those things where you don't want to get too excited, but it was beyond excitement right after I walked in. And crazy enough, the front door is actually the exact same front door that we had at our home in Canada. And so I was like, is this a little God wink? Like, what is this? But we toured the home, and like I said, we just immediately fell in love with it. And so we worked with the realtor, and we realized that yes, we could bring it down a little bit in price, which was helpful. And so we got the house, and what also made it work was that living with my mom actually went so well, we asked her to move in with us. So she has a whole kind of suite to herself off to the side. And so we made it work for all of us to come here to this home, and we're just loving every minute of it. So let me take you along, and we're going to show you around the house some of the spaces that I have made over, as well as the beautiful character that is here. And today we get to show you how much we love Christmas and all of our Christmas trees and Christmas decor. So this is the entryway. It's the first thing you see, obviously, when you walk into the home. And when I first got here, I kept calling it a foyer because it just felt like you were walking into a hotel or something. It's just so grand and so large that I honestly didn't and kind of still don't know what I'm doing with it. So I was so thankful when Homeworthy said they wanted to do a Christmas tour, because I was able to fill it with some beautiful items. The most beautiful item, though, is the original chandelier when you first walk in. It is absolutely stunning. And many people have asked me for a link. I said, I can't give you one because it was here when we got here, and I'm assuming it's original. And just the crystals are real, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And then I just recently found this entryway table, and I had plans to make it over, but I unfortunately ran out of time before you guys got here. So I will be refinishing it. I want to make it like a really beautiful, dark, rich color. And then I just quickly found this rug on Amazon. But like I said, I haven't really touched this room yet, but we just added some pieces to make it feel a little bit cozier. So we brought this piece down from Canada. This was my son's dresser. And if you know anything about an older home, you know that there is not much storage. So we have this little under the cupboard Harry Potter type stairs here, but it doesn't lend itself to too much storage. So we fill this with extra hats and mittens and of course, you know, an occasional junk drawer. And then we also have our beautiful Christmas tree. This Christmas tree is 100% thrifted. It is the tree and all of the ornaments, everything on it, and it is my absolute favorite because I just feel like each ornament has its own special memory from someone else's story, and now I get to bring it into my home, which I just think is so beautiful. And we cannot bypass the beautiful stale railing and baluster. It is just stunning, and I almost wish my stairs were larger so that I could see more of this person's handiwork because it's absolutely beautiful. And we will be painting this someday. I'm just not quite sure. I think I really love the white and the invitingness that it has when you first walk in, but some people tell me I should do color, but I'm not quite sure yet. This piece over here, going back, sorry, is thrifted. This was a silver mirror. It was $25, and with a little bit of spray paint and some rub-and buff, we made it look a little bit more antique. And then I just layered my Christmas wreath on top because I don't want to see myself while I'm eating Christmas chocolate. So that's just there for that. And then making our way over here, we have this beautiful piece I found at an antique store, and it just has the three girls playing music. I have three sisters, and so I thought that that was just a little nod to them. But I just love bringing in antique pieces and thrifted finds. You'll see that all throughout the tour, that is kind of how I make my house a home. And because older homes are kind of wonky, they always have little nooks. And so I love to fill them with art and different pieces. And so this piece right here, actually, this was from a thrift store, and it is from 1887. And that just blows my mind that somebody put this piece into a box and was like, good luck, because that is old. And so I just think that is so neat. And then just, yeah, some other pieces. This was a thrift store find, and yeah, just really beautiful. And then as I was going through my home and I've been making it over, I realized we have no family photos. And so I made up for it by putting my kids on the wall and saying, look, we do exist. So it's not just art, but yeah, they're cute enough that they can go on the wall for sure. And then this piece here I found at Goodwill, and it was $7. And I'm pretty sure it's at least 100 years old just from the detail on the chair. No one's allowed to sit on it. My toddler has stood on it a couple times, and just thankfully it's held together. They don't make things like they used to, you guys, so I'm very thankful for that. And again, another thrifted find. This was $10. I had plans to refinish it, but I think I like the way that it looks right here for right now. But yeah, so the meaning behind Heart and Home Crew is that I love my home, and I really want you to love your home. And so I hope that I can inspire you to do that through thrifted finds or DIY, and just find the heart of your own home. And the crew is just because I do have 4 crew members who occasionally help me out. So my daughters love to paint. My oldest son, not so much. He doesn't love it as much, but that's okay. But my youngest son is really, really into it. And I'm excited to see what he's gonna be one day because he loves to work with his hands. And if mom's doing it, he's gotta be doing it. So that's where the crew comes from. So you'll see this floor when you first walked in. This was actually my first project. I saw the floors and they were really dark and beat up. And here, for some reason, they were 2 different colors completely. And I said, our old home, we never refinished the floors. And I said, we have to refinish the floors. And by we, I meant me. And so I rented a drum sander. My dad came out a couple days to help me a little bit. And the one thing I'll say is if you ever want to refinish your floors, do it because it'll save you a lot of money, but be ready because the edger is a beast. It's that piece that goes along the edge, and it's just wild. But yeah, we did the floors in 1 week, top to bottom, all of them. And these I don't believe are original because the closet has the same floors as the ones that are actually upstairs in the landing in the bedrooms. This is a little bit smaller and it's all throughout. So I'm not gonna be crazy and rip them up. I'm not gonna be that crazy, but the kitchen does have some, laminate flooring that I'm like, maybe one day we'll see what's under here. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, that was a project, and I'm just happy. I went light instead of dark because I have a dog and I have 4 children, and dark, as beautiful as it is, as rich as it would have been, it shows all of the dirt and the dust, and I don't have time to vacuum my floors every day. And so I decided to go lighter in the home. So the biggest challenge of designing and decorating this home when I first saw it was honestly where to start. We recently learned actually that no one had lived in this home since the 80s. There was 2 sisters who had bought the home and just wanted to make sure it stayed how it was. They stored their antiques in it. They had a pretty garden, which does not exist anymore. I'm working on that. But they just used it as a placeholder basically. And so an investor bought it off of them, and thank God, all he did was flip the kitchen and the bathrooms, and he left all of the beautiful moldings. There's so much beadboard throughout that we'll show you, and it just has so much character. And so when I came in, it was where do I start with this? The house gave us some options because we did have some critters we had to take care of. There was the foundation. There was just lots of housework that needed to be done. but ultimately she had really great bones. And so where I started was the pantry, because when we bought it, there was no laundry. And so we had to take off some doors and some trim and put the laundry in, and we needed pantry space. And so I went ahead and made over the pantry, just making it really cozy and sweet. And so I just had a lot of fun there. And I thought this was successful. People liked it, and I thought, let's go bigger. And so we moved our way into the room behind me, and that's where I just kind of took off, and we've just been going ever since. And then we will work our way into the living room. So leading to the entryway, we have these insane pocket double doors. One of them does slide, the other one is off its hinges. My dream is to refinish them, and that's when I've kind of finished the big makeovers. I figured I would go and do the littler ones. This isn't really little, but everything, all the beadboard you'll see throughout, as I've been painting it, I've seen chip marks of paint underneath, and there is dark, rich mahogany under the doors. So I think it would be beautiful to bring those back, but that is going to take some time, but I think it's just amazing. And then one day too, I'll do the hardware, because we have copper hardware. It's just absolutely incredible, the details that are still here. And you cannot have double door entryway without doing the festive garland. So we had to do that. I was so excited. Last year we moved in October. I did the floors. We moved in November. And so Christmas was still Christmas, because we love Christmas. So we put some of it up. But this year I said, I'm doing the garland. So I did the garland, and I love it so much. It just feels festive and cozy, and I don't even think it needs the lights or the bows this year. I just wanted it to feel kind of old school. I feel like that's what it is, so vintage. So coming into our living room, this is what would have been the original sitting room, actually. My mom's quarters, which we won't see today, but you can follow me and I'll show you those when I make them over. That is actually the main living room that they transitioned into a bedroom. They added a bathroom. So here's the sitting room where they would have received guests. And this is one of our favorite spots to be. We have beautiful bookshelves. Those were not here. This room was gray and it was white. And the fireplace that was here is obviously original to the home, but it just felt like you couldn't see it, which might sound so odd because it was the only thing in the house, in the room, but I just felt like it needed to be showcased. And so I built these bookshelves all the way to the ceiling. I added in some trim to kind of make it look like it had always been here. And I think I accomplished that, because when I tell people that these weren't always here, they're a little bit shocked. And again, they're not perfect, but I learned a lot. And I think that as I'm doing this house too, you'll see like trim and stuff that isn't perfect from 119 years ago. So, you don't always have to know exactly what you're doing. But yeah, this color, I always get asked. This is Waterloo by Sherwin-Williams. It is the most beautiful color. I am normally white paint. Like, I like white paint. It's safe, it's pretty, it's airy, but I wanted to have a little bit more fun in this home and something a little bit more historical. And so I went with this color, which is a chameleon color. Sometimes it's teal, sometimes it's blue, and I really, really love it. And then we obviously have styled them for Christmas with just some pretty finds. Majority of these are thrifted, or they are from antique stores, you guys. If not that, it's home goods. But we've, got some thrifted crocks and some thrifted frames. Those are my favorite things to thrift, are the ornate gold frames. I just love them so much, and just the character that they have. If you can't tell, I love character. So the fireplace, let's talk about that for a second. It is a double mantle, which I learned this the hard way. Do not light candles on a double mantle fireplace, because you might burn your house down. So anyways, just take that as a note. But the fireplace has original tile. It is this green tile, which I did not love when I first moved in here, but I just didn't want to harm it, because I want to take care of an older home while also knowing that I am the owner of it and I want to enjoy it. But once we put the paint on the walls, it completely just fits the space now. And the fireplace itself was covered in 4 layers of paint. And I did learn that the hard way. So there was a light green, a dark green, a tan, and a black. I think the black was something that was used to protect it. So I went in to clean it all, and then noticed that there was a copper, kind of like a face plating on it. Unfortunately, it came off when I cleaned it with ketchup. So just take note of that when you're eating French fries, what ketchup can do. I still love ketchup, so no judgment. But anyways, yeah, so I cleaned it off as best I could. This is all copper, because you can tell it's turning green. So this whole thing is copper. And then I just got tired. And so I stopped, and so many people said, well, the rust looks really pretty. Just leave it like that, because I wasn't sure, do I just go over the surround now? Do I paint it? What do I do? And so many people just said the rust color matches the room. So just just leave it. So I did, and I'm okay with it for now. And if I come back to it another day, I will. But it's a beautiful fireplace. This is Rain, you guys. She might come in and out. This is our dog. And yeah, so the other side, also just a couple more items, just for, for kicks and giggles. We have the Mona Lisa from Home Goods because I thought that she was fun. And swivel chairs are my kids' favorite. You guys, this is a game in our house, is the kids swiveling and mom saying stop. And then our Christmas tree. So normally when you come into a home, I feel like people like to have the grand decorated Christmas tree. But for us, family is everything. Christmas is family. And so we have our tree of all of our favorite things. And every year the kids and I and my husband, we get to pick an ornament, and it's a little bit full and our kids aren't that old. So we may need to maybe get a bigger tree. But yeah, it just has some of our favorite items. And one of our favorite things to do is my mom actually framed us as babies in our Christmas outfits for our first Christmas. And so we did that. We have all of our kids in their first Christmas pictures on the tree. And I just think that that's so sweet and so special. And then again, the lighting is original as far as we know to the home. It's wild. It looks like an octopus, and I don't know what it's made out of, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's also wild because this is not my style even 5 years ago. And I'm just so thankful that I can appreciate it, because I would have been so sad at myself if I had moved in here and not appreciated it and changed it. So I'm just so thankful. And again, the color of that kind of coppery brass color just suits the room so well. And I just love it. And we just have some more art, a couch, and this room actually gets used so much. I made over the landing upstairs. I'll show you in a minute. And that's kind of more of our family hangout. We just relax and play the puzzle. I was nervous this wasn't going to get used, but in our bookcases here, we have all the kids' books. We love reading. Right now it's filled with all the Christmas books, but our kids are avid readers. And that was something important to me because I love reading. My husband does now too. It only took him about 33 years. It's okay. But so we come in here, we cozy up with a book, we go to the library, and they are in here all the time. And it makes me so happy because I never want a space to go unused. I always want it to be used for something. And yeah, this room is it was one of my first makeovers with color. And I'm so glad I did it because I just love it so much. And then this rug was actually, we had it upstairs. I bought it initially for my son's bedroom, and you'll see that I drew inspiration from it to do the room, but it was too small in the space in the end. And so I decided to bring it down here. And this was a Facebook Marketplace find. It was $100, and it is a heavy rug. It's the real deal. And so that's my tip for you guys, is make sure you're checking out Facebook Marketplace, thrift stores, antique places, estate sales, which I sadly have not gone to an estate sale yet. I need to do that. But you can find some wonderful things from some wonderful people. I've met so many wonderful people. But yeah, we love this. And I really feel like it just completely pulled the room together, because I just put this in here 2 weeks ago because the boys' bedroom is fresh, you guys. The paint is still drying for you. And then over here we have this cabinet. This was my brother-in-law's mother's, who's unfortunately, she's passed away, but we have a little piece of her because she was a wonderful woman. And I just have some of my favorite thrifted finds. Again, majority of my stuff is from thrift stores. So, $2, $1. But it still just means so much to me, and I love it so much. But also because it's thrifted, I'm a little bit more okay with having it out where my son might be able to get it, because I didn't pay an arm and a leg for it. And then in here we just have our wedding photo. My husband and I, we actually got married. I was, I think, 22 and he was 21, and he's just my best friend, and I love him so much, and he's a cutie. So give him a close up. But yeah, that was one of my favorite days, is our wedding day. So Heart and Home Crew is my social channel where I love to share my love of DIY, making over spaces, and thrifted finds to completely make your house a home. So Heart and Home Crew actually started about 14 years ago when I was looking how to do my makeup for my wedding. And I started out with a makeup channel, and it was a lot of fun. But behind the scenes, I was always doing my little DIYs. I was making over spaces in my home. And then I stopped because I had children, as we do. And then when we decided to move here from Canada, I realized I really wanted to share again. And so just before we moved, I started up Heart and Home Crew, because the meaning behind it for me is that I really want to help you love your home. And I do it with a little bit of help from my crew. I have 4 kids, and if you follow me on any of my socials, you'll have seen some of them, but mainly my toddler Harvey. He is almost 3, and he loves a hammer and a paintbrush, and so he loves to help me. But yeah, so I want to show people that you can do it. A lot of people say, how did you start? Where did you learn this? My dad, we would always watch HGTV growing up. This Old House, Bob Vila was the OGs, the originals. And I just loved what they were doing. And we had so much fun in my room making over spaces. He would let me paint all the time. He would change out my carpet, and I just had so much fun. And so I want to share that with others. And the first thing that I ever built was a chicken coop because we bought a chicken coop off Amazon and it was too small. And I thought these 4 chickens, they need a bigger home. And so I got some plants off Etsy, and I had never picked up a power tool before, and I did it. And so that's what I mean is I think some people get so overwhelmed with the idea of it. But even when I built these bookshelves behind me, I just realized that everything has a step-by-step process. You just have to be able to follow it and not afraid to try. And even if you fail, most of the times you're just learning something, and the more you do it, the better that you get. I'm just trying to share that with mainly women is my audience, but whoever that, start out with painting the wall. My sister, God bless her, I learned recently she didn't know how to paint a wall. And so we painted the wall, and that's where you can start. And then maybe you do a nail gun next, maybe you do a saw next. And it's just been so much fun for me. And then we'll head this way to the dining room. So this dining room is bigger than anything I ever imagined. And my mom, God bless her, and my dad, we lived down the road 20 minutes from where we are now. And the dining room that they had fit this table. Let's just say that. They had 7 children and it fit this table. And so when we came to this home, it just felt like God saying, enjoy your next meal, because we'd been so cramped for over 20 years. You make do, it was what it was, but to now be able to host everyone in this dining room is just a dream come true, especially since my mom is now living with us, that she gets to come and enjoy the meal around the grand table. So this is the dining room, the formal and the regular, if you will, because we eat in here every single day. 4 children, 2 adults, my mom, a dog occasionally. And so we gather around here. And again, another original light fixture as far as I know. I would actually like to find a larger one. I think it's a little bit too small for the space. It's also off center, which is something funny about the home. I feel like none of the light fixtures are where they're supposed to quite be, but that's okay. It's still beautiful. But yeah, I'd like to get one a little bigger and a little lower. And then I would probably just repurpose this either in another bathroom or somewhere, still keep it in the home, of course. And then this is the hutch of my dreams. So I love France. I love French things, and it's kind of my inspiration for this room. I chose a beautiful Puritan gray blue for the trim. And then for the wallpaper, this is Belle Fleur from Milton & King, and it's just absolutely stunning. Sometimes on my camera, it appears a little bit purple, but here it's in person, it's a little bit more blue and blue. So we'll see how that shows up. But this hutch I found on Facebook Marketplace, and I had been looking forever. I've been looking since we moved into my mom's home. I just wanted to find a really beautiful hutch. And this one popped up, and it said it had been there for weeks. And I'm like, I've been searching every day. I don't know if you've been there for weeks, but they had it listed, I think for $500, originally had it for $1,000. And I was like, I can't do that. So I said, hey, you've had this for a while. We'd be willing to let it go for $3. And they said, yes. So yay. So we went, we met them. Wonderful guy named Bruce, him and his wife. This was her mom's hutch. And her dad had been he sold furniture back in the day. And so this was their family piece. And I said, I promise I will love it and I will treasure it and I will take care of it. And I just think it's absolutely stunning. And just more storage is what we always need. So we have our linens in here. I've got a lamp that I'm going to put in a bathroom later, just all the storage. And then just little trinkets of what I love for life. I like to display things, of course, that I like, but also things I'm going to use. So I love brass candlesticks. You'll see those everywhere. I love them. All thrifted. And then, a cake stand we're going to use for birthdays, a bowl we're going to use for popcorn, and maybe I'll read one of those books. I might not read one of those books. I got those for the color. But yeah, and then we just decorate it with a little bit of some garland and some twinkle lights. But I think this is an absolutely stunning piece, and I'm so thankful to own it. And then the table is my mom's. I don't love the finish of it. It is oak. It has a lot of wood grain. It's just not my cup of tea. And so for right now, we have a tablecloth. But the chairs, I thrifted these. I found these on Facebook Marketplace as well. They were selling a table and chairs, but the table was too small for the space. And so I said, okay, well, just give it all to me. I think it was $175. I resold the table for $100. So the chairs were $75. I refinished them to make them darker, as well as changed out the fabric to something just a little bit more French, a little bit of a cocoa color. And then we have it set obviously for Thanksgiving and for Christmas, but for us, it will be extended twice the size because I have a large family. And yeah, just made it look really pretty. And then over here, we have some more thrifted art and some frames. And the one thing about today's world is that we have to have technology. And my husband insisted on a security system. And unfortunately, because an older home and wiring and all that stuff, this is the only place we could put it. smack dab in the middle of my dining room wall. And so I was like, well, what can I do to kind of hide it a little bit? So when I redid the whole room, called an electrician, tried to get it moved, and we couldn't. So I actually just took an old mirror, took the mirror out, cut the frame down, and now I don't notice it as much, and I'm so happy. And there's a way to change the picture, but I haven't figured it out yet. So when I do, it'll be an antique picture to match. And then these were thrifted as well, Walmart print. And you guys, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I thrift and I use cheap ways to make my home beautiful. And I don't know if I should say cheap, but it's true because I do it on the budget. And I think that that's just hopefully an inspiration to you, is that you can do beautiful things with not a lot of money. And I think I've made that happen. And then the rug is nothing truly special, but we just got this thrifted as well. I found it on Marketplace for I think $50. And it may be a placeholder, and I think that's okay too, is that to buy things and not to be a throwaway society, but if I find something more beautiful later and I have the budget for it, that I can trade it out, and then I can either gift this to someone else or just resell it again for cheap that somebody else can use for their placeholder or for their rug if that's what they want. So now this fireplace, there are several fireplaces in the home. This is obviously how they would have heated it. This fireplace had green tile. Don't get mad at me if you go and find the original photos, but it was not my style at all. And I could have made the room go off of the color. I could have done green, absolutely, but it's just not who I am. When I see a space, it just comes to life in my head. And so the Entryway hasn't done that for me yet. I'm still waiting. But when I saw this room, I just knew. I was like, I want blue and I want French and I want wallpaper. There was actually, I should have mentioned that, there was a green and white like 70s wallpaper in here before. Not my style. Happily took that down and put wallpaper right back up. But the tile, I couldn't make it work. And so this is actually peel and stick tile, which some people were like, why would you put plastic on such a beautiful fireplace? I understand that. The only thing is it was the best solution for me because I didn't want to harm the original tile. This does not have a super sticky backing, so it can come right off for the next owner if they want to unearth it and they want to let that green tile shine. I say go ahead, but for me, it just wasn't me. So this was the best option. I didn't want to paint it. I didn't want to take it out. It is from the home, so I thought that that was just the best of all the options. And then we have our nativity scene here. This is just our favorite. And a fun trick, you actually can take a willow, like one of the ladies who's pregnant, and leave her up there till Christmas, and then the kids can swap out Jesus on Christmas Day if you want. So I saw that on the internet. There's lots of fun things on the internet and lots of tips and tricks. And then this is the garland. This garland's probably honestly my least favorite in the home. My husband said you bought too much garland this year, so I had to cut back. So I used what I had and we made it work, but put a bow on it, put lights on it, and I think it works. And apparently bows are in this season for Christmas. I did not know that, but I put bows all over my tree and it works because it just feels French and it feels feminine and delicate. And yeah, this tree is from King of Christmas. It is the most beautiful tree I have ever used in my life. And it was gifted to me as a collab, but I can say that I now want to switch all my trees to this tree because it's just so pretty. And we have the bow topper that's from Target this year, and then all of the ornaments to fill it out. And it fits the space so beautifully. Again, we have another nook here with all of the pretty little art, all thrifted. You guys, it's my life. Like I thrift everything and I make it work for my home. And then this piece was Facebook Marketplace. It was kind of more of like a rough French cottage look, which isn't mine. I like the little bit more of the sophisticated French style. So I just sanded it down, all the rough pieces, and then just put a coat of paint on it that was a little bit more neutral, but I left the top. I really liked the dark wood, and it just holds all of the kids' coloring and everything that they can use to, play and Play-Doh and everything like that. And then she was a fun find. I found her online, and I just think she's fun. She had red, but I put gold on her to make her a little bit, a little bit more of my theme, and then some Christmas trees. But yeah, I really hope that you can feel that French essence, but it's not over the top. You know what I mean? I have a couple Eiffel Towers, but it's not like fleur-de-lis are hanging from my ceiling. And then the windows, I should have mentioned that in the entryway, but the windows in this home are what sold me. I love bright, I love airy. Give me outside, but inside, please, because I'm an introvert. And so the windows are just my absolute favorite. They are all so tall. None of them work. I think we have 3 windows that actually open. And so I need to get some more plants to kind of clear the air in here, but they are just so beautiful. It is on my to-do list is to refinish the windows because I do want to be able to use them. We live in North Carolina, so it can get hot and we like a little breeze every now and then, but I kind of did it backwards where I did full room makeovers where I feel like you see people move into a home and they start with that kind of stuff because it's important, but I just got excited with my paintbrush and I just kind of went to town. So this wallpaper was so beautiful when I worked with the company, and I just love the background, the blue, again, that French, as well as the florals are just so pretty. And I say to myself, I'm like, I don't think it's too feminine, but then I look and I'm like, okay, maybe it is. It's very, but I don't feel like it's girly. Do you know what I mean? My husband, he completely said yes to this because I said, is this too much for you? And he said, no, like do, and that's the great thing. My husband is so kind. He lets me do what I want, which is so cool. And yeah, I really, really love it. And this is a paste wallpaper. I used a peel and stick in the bathroom. Highly recommend paste. Yes, it is a pain to take off, as I learned having to take the wallpaper off before it, but it's just really easy for a beginner because all you have to do is put the glue on the wall. You have more time to kind of move your paper around, whereas a peel and stick, if it sticks to itself, it's a nightmare, and I'm speaking from experience. So yeah, this was a really easy installation. It took me a day after taking all the wallpaper down, and then I took the glue down, and then I primed. It took about a day to get it up because I was like, we're doing this. So I love how much it adds to the room, and I love that wallpaper is coming back because it just gives you so many more options for design. So now we're gonna head into the kitchen, and we're gonna take my favorite door, which was a swinging door, but it broke off because the hardware broke, and so it's just a door right now. But this was the second thing that sold me on this home, the front door and the swinging door, because my parents had actually taken a tour of a home when I was young, and I remember the swinging kitchen door. As a kid, you just run in and out of the door. It's the funnest thing ever. And I said, when I have a home one day, I would love to have a swinging door. And when we walked in and there was a swinging door, again, I was like, God, is this you? Is this where we're supposed to be? So we need to fix it, but I do love this door so much. I think it's just the coolest. So my best piece of DIY advice is go to YouTube and go to blog posts, because so many people before you have done it and they have figured out the hard way how to do it, and they're now sharing the easy way. So I don't think you need to have to know everything in a day, but definitely look to people who've done it before, and that's just the easiest thing I can tell you. And then for thrifting finds, I say go often. I know that sounds bad, but the more you go, the more you're gonna see. And I tend to have a route where I will stop off. I've got like 3 on one road. And so I know that day, okay, today's thrifting day, we're gonna pop in. I've got my 2 kids with me, so you guys can do this, okay? And sometimes I have 4, but just go in and take a look around. Some days you're gonna find some stuff, some days you're not. So that's why it's better to go more often. So let's go in. All right, so this is our kitchen. And when we first moved in, there was just cabinets and they were gray. There was no beadboard that I'll show you. There was no open shelving. We added in this cabinet here. And even before we had bought it, apparently a year or 2 prior, they tried to sell this home with no kitchen. They'd ripped everything out and they said, good luck. No kitchen, no laundry. I think those are kind of essential, especially for a mom. And so thankfully they had just kind of stuck some gray cabinets in, but gray was my old home, like I told you guys, and I wanted to have more fun with some more neutral colors. And so we did what's called the 1 room challenge. It's a really fun challenge on Instagram where creators get 8 weeks to make over a space. And so I said, I'm gonna paint those kitchen cabinets. So we painted them, it was me. I painted them in Natural Cream by Benjamin Moore. And I just think it's just a really soft, lovely color. Again, I'm glad that I'm having fun with color outside of the space in the dining room and in the front living room. But for those common areas, I think I just need the white to kind of breathe. The kitchen can be chaos. You know, we've got those kids that love to help. Harvey's my little helper. And it just calms me. The white just calms me. And so I really love it. It's a breath of fresh air. And then it lets me have more fun at Christmas time where I can add in my pops of red. I love gingerbread, the classic gingerbread, the brown and the white. And so that's kind of my theme in this kitchen. And we've added that with little houses all throughout up here as well. And what I would really love to do is I want to take these cabinets to the ceiling. Again, older home, not much storage. And so one day I'll take these to the ceiling, but that's a project for another day. But we painted them. We added the beautiful hardware just from Amazon. Really pretty, really affordable. And then I added in a beadboard backsplash just because the beadboard is everywhere in this house and I needed it to kind of carry throughout. But the kitchen too, I feel like I made it more of cozy. The house is so elevated that I just wanted an area that just felt, you know, a little bit more down to earth. And I feel like I kind of did that here. You guys can let me know. But the open shelving, I love. We had it at our older home and some people are afraid of it because of dust, and that's fair. But I like to just put pieces that we're gonna use every day. And so then that way the stuff that I do need to wash more, like, you know, one little decorative item, then it's not that much. But I chose neutral plates, all thrifted. We do have some for Christmas. We got these from Walmart a couple years ago, but these were from my grandmother, just some pretty holly cups. I love, again, the gingerbread. And then the art my mom had at her house. And so I just wanted to bring a piece of her because she was always in the kitchen at home, always cooking, always making cookies, always making dinner, just always snacks. I'm like, I have 4 kids and I can't keep up. Like, how did you keep up with 7? So this pretty piece of the art with the woman gathering her eggs and just looking outside wondering, is this my life? And I'm just kidding. I love my life. And she loved hers. But anyways, so yeah. So, and I love the white pictures. I just think that those are so pretty, the ironstone. And yeah, I find keeping it neutral so you can have fun at the holidays is the best way to do it. And just making sure you're using stuff that you're using every day. And then, like I said, you don't have to it does need to be dirty. And then the dishwasher was very dark, and it just felt like it stood out so much when I had this pretty cream and the white going on. And so I decided just to try this little skirt ruffle, and it's just a magnetic rod, and I sewed a curtain on it, and it hides it, and it works for me. Some people are nervous. They're like, oh my gosh, doesn't it get dirty? And I washed it once, and that was only because my son got the corner of it. It doesn't get dirty, I promise. I don't know how it happens. It's a miracle, but it doesn't. And then, yeah, just over here, I love this is for when we have family over and we can do like a buffet style dinner. Then we can just put everything over here. There's a nice flow. I wish I could show you guys my old home because this is just night and day difference. It's so wonderful to be able to have everyone here and just really enjoy our time together. And then there used to be shutters on the windows. I did take those down. There was actually shutters in the dining room too. And some people were upset with me, but honestly, they were really old and they had so much paint on them that they were really hard to clean. And I just, again, I need that light and airy feeling. And so I just did some simple little cafe curtains, just got some cotton fabric from Joann's. And then the rods are from Amazon, just custom cut them down and put them up there. And I just, again, it just feels like a breath of fresh air. I just love it. And then wherever I can put the garland, wherever I can put the gold frames, I will. Added a cute little peg hook here, again, to give it kind of that more cottagey, cozy feel. And I really love it. And then obviously the gingerbread men, they're my absolute favorite. And then this flooring was here when we got here, but this is what I was talking about when I said, I know that there's original flooring under here because we have a little closet over there. I can't show you, it's my work closet. It doesn't look anything like what you're looking at right now. And I can see some of the original floor poking through. So I thought about maybe ripping it up. Don't tell my husband, but that's maybe next year. And then this piece I found at a restore. So that's like a Habitat for Humanity. And I've seen people put like really beautiful like French old tables, and that would be so cool. But I did need, again, some more storage. I'm making it sound like I have a lot of stuff and I'm a hoarder, but you fill up a kitchen, you know what I mean? And so we just have some more utensils in here, some Dutch ovens, some more pots and pans, and it actually opens up. It would have been used as like a bar probably in a dining room at some point. And yeah, it's just, the kids love it. They think that it's so much fun, and it just gives us that extra little bit of room because my mom will sometimes be cooking in here with us. And so everybody's got a countertop. And then of course you got to have some Christmas cookies at Christmas time, our favorite. And then over here we have a cool little dining nook. So we actually had a woman, her name is Barbara, and she would walk down the street and she said, I used to live in this home when I was little. She was in the room where my girls are now. And so her sister was with her one day and we said, come on in, like, because she's probably in her 70s, early 80s. And we said, come in and like look and see what we've done and tell us what you can about the home. And so she said in this room, apparently the wall used to go all the way across, which makes sense because this is completely added on when I was putting the drywall in, when I was fixing it all for the laundry. The walls are drywall, which our walls are lath and plaster. That's the old, the wood slats and all the plaster on top. So this table is our little nook. Again, we love eating at the dining room table. I specifically kept this small because I didn't want it to become where we would eat and then we didn't eat in the dining room. So we'll have our snack here, or me and the 2 kids who stay home during the school week, this is where we'll eat. Sometimes we do crafts here, sometimes we play here. And then this chandelier I did get off Amazon. I was just trying to find something that kind of fit the home a little bit, but within budget. And I made over this table. This is more like the oak that my mom's table has. So I tried to lighten as best as I could, but it still has so much of the wood grain, which it's just not my favorite. So, but I still think it's cute. And the chairs too, those were a marketplace find. And then this little unit over here, we didn't have a spot to put our garbage because the counters were so low for a garbage to go under. And it was just out in the open. And I don't want to look at a garbage can, you guys. I like making the practical pretty. And so I made this little kind of unit with just a shelf. And then I did some conduit piping. And then it hides our garbage and our recycling. And I got to buy some pretty fabric and make a little curtain. And again, people are like, doesn't that get so gross? But all I do during the day is I'll just open it up during mealtime and I can close it when guests come over. Nobody has to know it's here. You guys all know now. And then just, again, some more thrifted art. This was off of Etsy, digital downloads. If you guys need some art, that's the best way to do it. You can get them so cheap, and you can just print them off at your local CVS, Walmart, all that stuff, and you can just make your home so pretty, and I love it. And then, like I said, we added the beadboard in here to carry throughout the home. This one I did a little bit higher than what is in the actual home itself because I wanted it to kind of make it look like it was coming off of the backsplash and continuing around. So we did that, and then I just have some of my, favorite things and a calendar to remind us what's going on in life. But yeah, it just cozy is what I wanted this kitchen to be. So then these plates on the wall, again, I love that blue and white. I just think it's so classic and so pretty. And I've seen people putting plates up, and I thought this wall just needed something, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I just started collecting plates. Again, thrift stores, antique stores, most of them were $1, $2. I think my most was $5. And I just think it's so fun to be able to kind of find them wherever you go. And you can almost make it like a souvenir where, oh, I went here and I found this plate there, and just have that memory with you. But I just love beautiful things, and I just like to display them in a way where people can also enjoy them. And so yeah, we just have this plate wall. It may grow, it may not. I'm not quite sure yet if I'm done, but if I wanted to, I could carry it through and we'll see. But yeah, just really unique. And my daughter, she found one and it has little horses on it. So that's why there's a horse one up there, because she wanted to contribute. But I just love the florals and yeah, just the history behind the plates. So we live in Monroe, which is a historic town, and that is because it was founded in 1843 and it was a port city. It's actually named after the 5th president, James Monroe. And we specifically actually live, like I said, in a historic district, so we can't do too much to the outside of our house without getting permission. It took us about 6 months to put a fence up, but we appreciate that because it just means that people care about the beauty of old times of, they're not making homes like this anymore, unfortunately. And that's my favorite thing, is I just love the character of this home. And who doesn't? I think that's part of the reason this channel exists, is that we're able to see some of these beautiful homes. But we just recently moved here. We actually only moved here a year ago. So we're still getting to know the city a little bit. It is a little bit widespread, but we live just on the outskirts of the city, and it's kind of up and coming right now, which is really lovely to see. A lot more families moving back to the neighborhood and taking care of these older homes like us. All right, that wraps up the first floor, so let's go ahead and I'll show you the upstairs. All right, and then as we work our way upstairs, I do just want to introduce you to Rain. So she's actually been so good. I was nervous she was going to be so excited, but we have this home, and I tried to do some landscaping outside. You're not going to see it because I prayed for rain all summer. And I was every day, Lord, we need rain. We need rain. I need these plants to flourish. They got eaten by slugs and bugs. They don't exist. But God gave me Rain in a different way. And so this is Rain. She is a foster, and our neighbors, with all of the storms that we've had throughout the summer and early fall, there were a lot of animals displaced. And so she had 5 puppies, and they said, can you help us in any way? And we said, well, we'll take the mom because we know the puppies are going to go. So this is Rain. She is a sweetheart. She is so sweet. She just wants love all day long. If I stayed like this for the rest of the day, she would be a happy, happy girl, but we got to carry on. But yeah, she's a sweetheart, and they think she's a lab retriever, possibly German Shepherd mix. So as sweet as she is, she also has a lot of energy. So she likes her daily walks, and we're learning together, but she's really sweet. So, all right, let's go ahead and head upstairs. So like I said, it's the small stairs. I wish they were bigger because they're just so pretty. We have another beautiful window. Just the details, you guys. Like, if I were to build a home today, I know it obviously costs money, but I would sell everything I had just to have these windows again because they're so pretty. And what's interesting about this home, we learned, is that it actually was a duplex at some point, which is why we have this odd landing space. There was a door here that had a deadbolt, and so my son locked himself behind it and we couldn't get him out, so we had to break the door down. And so we took the door down, and because I have this overhead and it breaks, I thought, well, let me just use it. So all of my frames, again, baskets and frames, they're me. I went ahead and made a little gallery wall, and it's just fun to just, go by and see. We have beautiful mirror, and we have the beautiful art, and just different pieces that mean different things to me. If you know and you are local to the Niagara region in Canada, this is from Trisha Romance. And so she is a really well-known artist in the Niagara region, and she has really cute pieces, and it just reminds me of home. And then my sister is an artist, so she drew a couple pieces. We have a couple of my favorite photographs, and I don't know, I love passing it every day, and it just makes me smile. And then above me, you'll see here, we made use of the landing, especially at Christmas, you have to put a tree there. What else am I supposed to put there? I actually don't have anything there throughout the year because I don't want my son to be too intrigued, but I figured a Christmas tree fills the space enough. And so this was the tree that I kind of got to have my little fun with, of just making it neutral and really pretty. Again, the tree is thrifted. All of the ornaments are thrifted. Don't sleep on the thrift store, you guys. There's so much good finds there. And then I put some presents there. This caused quite a stir though, because I posted this on Halloween saying, today we're putting up our Christmas tree. And so many people were so upset with me and they said, what are you doing? And also, what about Thanksgiving? But you guys, Thanksgiving tastes just as good with a Christmas tree while you're eating turkey. It probably tastes better, honestly. It's more cozy. But yeah, so we have this tree up here, and if you want to see me putting that together, you can check it out on Instagram, of climbing over the railing and risking my life for Christmas. But you guys, it's worth it because we love Christmas. But yeah, really beautiful, just the neutral ornaments of the browns and the golds and the browns. It's just green. I love it so much, and it just fills the space. And then up the stairs, we have the garland. Again, I told you I went over budget on garland this year, but the home just needs it. All those little areas, it just makes it feel so much more cozy and so much more Christmassy in such small and simple ways. And I just love it so much. So let's go ahead and head upstairs now. And I'll show you one of my favorite pictures. I got this from the thrift store. I think, do I even need to say anymore that it's from the thrift store? But it was just such a large piece. And again, I feel like the rooms just speak to me, and you guys are gonna see this landing in a second. And I just felt this piece needed to be in this room. And I just love the earthiness of it and the greenery and, you know, the mom and her babes. And I just think it's so sweet. And the one up there too as well is paired. And you're probably seeing the window as well. This landing is my favorite, you guys. It's what gave me those butterflies when we first moved into this home. Stunning, stunning windows, light and life, and it's everything that I am and want to be. It's just a breath of fresh air. And just, yeah, unfortunately the painters, you might not be able to see it on camera, but the painters who painted the outside were a little sloppy. So maybe one day can hopefully get someone to help me and we can chip some paint away. But the windows themselves are absolutely stunning and gorgeous, and I love them. And I told you guys I was nervous about doing this room because when we first moved in, it was just a walkway. We didn't have anything really here. We had old furniture that we weren't really using. And then when the makeover was done downstairs, I was like, okay, well, let's go to the next one. Always on to the next room. It's so much fun for me. And so for the landing makeover, I really just wanted to make sure it was a place that we still used. And downstairs, we had the TV tucked behind the couch. We'd pull it out. And I said, well, the kids are really just reading down here, so let's make this the TV room. And so what I did was I had a vision of a buffet, and my husband, God bless him, he loves me so much, and this is proof. I found this buffet in Canada when we were there for Christmas one year. We normally take one car, and I found it and I bought it and he let me do it. So he's partly to blame, but I just realized that this would look so good with a buffet and with a TV above it. And so we took 2 cars on our next trip to Canada just to bring the furniture home. I may have stuck a couple extra pieces because we had an extra car, why not? But again, the woman was so lovely when she sold this to me. I think I got this for $150. Again, and furniture is not made the same way. When we were just starting out, it was IKEA. You get pushed IKEA for college. Buy IKEA furniture for some reason. Maybe it's just really good marketing. And then they did the recall of the dressers, and so we got our money back, and I was more into thrifting. I've always loved thrifting, but I thought, why don't I go to the thrift store and see what I can find? And I found a beautiful, solid French dresser, and it was $75. And I said, I just got $300 back for plywood, and not even plywood, a particle board, and this is solid wood, and it has character. And so ever since then, I am just a whole advocate. Go to the thrift store, try and, rebuy on Facebook Marketplace, give it you're saving it from the landfill, and you're getting better furniture for an amazing price. So just keep looking though. Sometimes it can take a while, but yeah, we love this piece. So it houses our board games, and it houses our movies, and all those little tidbits that we need, the remote and that kind of stuff. And then this TV is not a frame TV. Again, budget people. So this was probably maybe $25 to make. I just hung up my TV, and then I did the frame with some of my favorite gold spray paint and gallery wall. You guys know I love a gallery wall. So I just filled my frames, all of my pretty art. And I love it so much. And I probably need an extra picture or 2 of my children, but we'll add those in over time. But yeah, and then just little pieces to make it feel a little bit more homey and cozy. And then we added this beautiful rug. This is vintage from Revival. They're a really amazing company I've been able to work with, where not only do they make beautiful rugs that are washable and new, but they actually also source vintage rugs. And so this is wonderful because this space, because it's, you know, a landing, it's a little bit more of an awkward size. I was able to find one that fit the width and the length. And so I appreciated that. I appreciate that detail. And of course we have the fun couch where, you know, you can just crash, you can read a book, you can watch your movie, and there's room for everybody. These actually kind of shift so we can make them longer or shorter if we need to, but everybody's got a space at the couch. And one of my biggest comments too is, oh my gosh, aren't you nervous for your kids because of the railing? That is a almost daily discussion, and they know you are not allowed to stand on the railing, so no worries about the safety there. We've had the talk many, many times, and you can see the Christmas tree from behind and the twinkly lights at night. It's my favorite. I love this room so, so much. This window was so pretty on its own that I honestly didn't think it needed curtains. It had one of those boxes at the top. I don't know what you call them, but it was probably like to hide curtains initially. And then I just thought, oh, I'll just take it down. I don't need anything. But it almost felt to me like a canvas. You have a beautiful piece of art, but when you add in that frame, it just makes it even more beautiful. So we have these beautiful curtains, and yeah, I feel like it frames it and really gives it that grand, just beautiful, beautiful boom. I don't know, I love it so much. And then the lighting too is really cool. There's a Cupid's, I guess, on the light here, really heavy solid brass, and the little bow. And this one, I don't know if that's original because I looked it up and it looks like it's more of like a 1950s piece. So I'm not quite sure. Again, I get questions all the time. I have no idea where they're from. They're old. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, the landing we love, and it's just one of our favorite spots. So let's head to the girls' room. So I showed you guys downstairs, you know, we have to have modern amenities in a home, but I don't love them. I mean, I love this. I do love air conditioning. So I decided to hide my thermostat because, again, off center, which wasn't the original person. I can't blame them, but it's also, I just don't want to look at this. And so you want to be careful because you don't want to restrict airflow, because obviously this is reading the temperature of your home. But I got a basket that just has a ton of holes in it and put it over top. So that way I can kind of make it a little bit more center, and then it hides and I don't have to see that. And then I found these cute little cuties for $5 each at a thrift store. And he reminds me of my youngest son. And she reminds me of my youngest daughter. So I thought that was so sweet. And then again, a little nook moment, and we can just hide our thermostat. And yeah, it's wonderful. Although the thing about an older home is I can put it at a temperature. It's not necessarily going to get to that temperature because the ceilings are 10 foot, which I love and I appreciate, but it just means, you know, spaghetti straps in the summer and really heavy blankets in the winter. So yeah, but we can go ahead and move our way into the girls' room now. So Christmas to me just means family. Honestly, you're going to see this home, or maybe you've seen it already, and it is just filled with Christmas, filled with decorations. And to me, it's just the memories that you make. It's the memories you make around the Christmas tree, sipping your hot cocoa, watching your favorite Christmas movies, opening those presents on Christmas morning, the meal that extended family comes. It's just the coziest season, and that's why my husband and I, we celebrate it for such a long time. We celebrate all November, all December, because we just want to make the most of it, and we just really want to ingrain these memories in our kids, and so that way when they grow up, they'll want to come home, and it's just such a beautiful time of year. This is the girls' room, and I had made over, I think, the pantry and the landing, and no, I hadn't done the landing yet. I can't remember. But anyways, the girls were begging me, Mom, please make over my room. We want to do our room makeover. And this room was gray. Again, all of the house was just gray and white before we moved in. And so we went online to Pinterest because they said they wanted black and orange. And I said, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. So the girls, they initially wanted black and orange because they were really into Kung Fu Panda at the time. And knowing children, they tend to change what they like very quickly. And so I said, well, let's choose something different. So we helped them out by going onto Pinterest, and I just showed them, you know, here's some inspiration. What do you like? What do you not like? And I knew I wanted to do a wall feature in here, but I wanted to break up the beadboard. So I showed them the wall molding, and we chose that. And then I was able to work with this company, Sandberg Wallpaper, for the wallpaper. It is the most dainty, beautiful wallpaper, but I also feel like it is something that they can grow into for a couple years. You know, it doesn't feel too childish to me. And so then they chose the colors of the pink and the green, and we just carried that out throughout the entire room. And I just think it's the sweetest and it's the coziest. And you're gonna hear me say, I love it so much. But the beds were found on Facebook Marketplace. They are the Jenny Lynn style antique bed. And I had been searching, again, forever. I'm always on there looking for furniture. And they were always one by itself. And I thought, okay, I'll go ahead and do this. But it was $300, $400, $500, sometimes $1,000 for one of these beds. again, budget. I'm like, I just can't do this. And by the grace of God, this woman posted 2 of these beds for $500. And again, I was like, oh, that's a bit much, but this will be their bed for a long, long time. And so I messaged her back and forth. I tried to go a little bit lower. She's like, I just can't. She's like, these are my mother's beds. And this woman was elderly herself. And so I went to go pick them up, and her mother had recently passed, and she was selling all of her items. And she just said, she had the sweetest heart. And she just said, I just care for these so much. And my mom, and she was just such an amazing woman. And these were her beds when she was a kid. And I said, I promise you, they're going to 2 of the sweetest girls, and they will love them, and they will have many night chats in them. And, we'll take really good care of them. And so she was just really happy that we were able to, take them and just love them. I love them so much. And so many people said paint them. And I did have an era where I painted furniture, so don't come at me, but I'm in my era of loving warm woods right now. And so I left them the way that they were, and I love them. And then the bedding was just on Amazon, just the pretty little florals, and then, some soft pink for winter so they can be warmer at night. And then I had a tiny side table in here, but not enough holding space, and just, it was way too small scale wise. That's the thing with these older homes, is the ceilings are 10 foot. And so you have to make sure that everything kind of fits to scale. And so I found this at a thrift store for $50, and it was plasticky. So I was okay with painting it. It just was a weird finish. So we painted it this green, but the hardware was like pretty. So I was able to take the white paint off, bring it back to its really pretty brass color. And then we just, decorated it for Christmas. We pulled completely in the pink. I was like, we've done the red and green classic downstairs. For Christmas for the girls, like, we're going all out. So we did the pink, and the tree is one of my favorites for Christmas time because I was able to have fun. They were able to have fun with the teacups and with the macarons and gingerbread and dolls. And it's one of my favorites. I think I said that every tree, but it's one of my favorites to pull out because we just have so much fun thrifting and finding these ornaments at, Michael's or wherever we can go to find like the little felted ornaments. I just think it's so fun. And then we did the flock tree in here as well, just to kind of make it that cozier Christmas snow feeling with the pretty pink of the tree skirt. Okay, so then this piece I actually got while we were staying with my mom. God bless her. I kept buying furniture while we were there. And this was off Facebook Marketplace, and the people who originally bought it said that they got it in Texas, and then they got it shipped to them in the Carolinas, and then they just didn't have space for it anymore. And it's just so pretty. It needs a refinishing job for sure. It's been loved on by these girls daily, but I just love the little ornate pieces, and the old hardware is just, it's really beautiful. And the little feet, even just, again, furniture like this, they don't make it, and I love it so much. I love all the details. So I actually would really love to see this down to the wood, like a really light wood I think would be pretty in here. The white of course works. I love it, but one day. It's on my to-do list. I've got a long, long list, just not quite yet. And then there is a fireplace in this bedroom, but it was boarded up when we got here, and it needs a little bit of a paint job, but I just put some of the wallpaper there because it was just a really weird textured concrete. It didn't make sense. And then I used those peel and stick tiles again. This is where I first used them, and because it was concrete, it looked weird. So when I'm ready, I'll learn how to use tiles. That's my next, it's on my DIY wish list of how to do that. And I know it's not hard, and I can go to YouTube, but I wasn't ready yet. But there is still some of the original tile, and I did leave that there. This matches the living room downstairs, but this mantle is different. It's not a double mantle, so I can light a candle here, and I don't have to worry. And then it has the mirror as well, and yeah, it's perfect for Christmas. You can display everything you need to display. We do have some family photos in here of me and the girls, and just had some fun with the garland. This is some thrifted little crystals, and then Hobby Lobby. And just added some bows because, again, if you're a girl, you gotta have some bows. I love it. And yeah, just had a little bit more fun. And then the last detail in here was the ceiling. Actually, the girls had some water damage from the chimney around it. We had to get it repaired. So I cut out the drywall, made sure there was no mold, and then these ceiling tiles, because tin ceiling tiles are something that would have been in a home kind of this era. And so they actually make styrofoam ones, which makes it so much easier when you're doing that DIY. When I went up and down the ladder 100 times of having to position them and all that, really lightweight and just really easy to install. So if you're looking for a simple DIY project and you're okay with maybe getting a neck massage after, then that's when I would say to try, because it just adds such unique detail that you may overlook, but is really subtle and really beautiful. So that's the girls' room, and now let's head to the boys' room. So as we make our way there, this piece is actually kind of what got me started on Facebook. So this is an old shiffer robe, I have since learned, and it has the most beautiful character. It was falling apart when I found it. It smelled like cigarette smoke. It was really gross. Cigarette smoke and perfume, like someone had tried to cover it up, and all of the old stain was falling off. And so I completely sanded it down. It took half of my life away, but it was well worth it. And then I did this really beautiful stain combination of a whitewash, and then I did antique oak over top of it from General Finishes. And I just really love the way that it turned out. And so many people did as well. A lot of people, this is where I learned about the restoration world, though, on the internet. I hadn't quite found them before. A lot of people said, why would you do that to that piece? Like, you know, and literally the stain was falling off because this is 100 years old. And so, yeah, for me, I just think, well, I'm giving it new life. So I think that counts for something, but it's just a really beautiful piece. And again, I had this at my mom's house that I had it. And when we came to view this house, I was like, I know the spot for it. It's going right here. And it hosts all of our extra linens and, you know, toothbrushes and all that kind of thing, bath towels, because there's nothing in the bathroom, which I'm going to get to one day, but I haven't quite touched it yet. But I really love this piece. And then again, just another little thrifted find, little table, any moment for a Christmas tree, you guys. We're gonna have a quiz at the end. How many Christmas trees did you spot? And yeah, and just another painting from the thrift store, and I love it so much. So the boys' bedroom, this one is so exciting because I just finished it. It still smells like paint. It still smells like wood stain, but it is beautiful. And I'm so happy because, as I said, color, not normally my thing. But when I asked my son, my oldest son, Emmett, he's 9, I said, what do you want to do for your bedroom? And he said, red. And I said, okay, because I love you. So we went with this red. This is Royal Garnet this is Valspar. And I bought what I thought was a high quality paint, but after doing the first coat and it was hot pink, I realized you need to do the most expensive paint you can buy, and you also need to do a dark gray undercoat. And I learned that after doing 5 coats on the wall and after doing 5 coats on the molding, because this room was, again, a blank slate. There was nothing on it. There was no moldings, but I kind of wanted to emulate the downstairs living room where it felt, and when you design a home, you got to have areas that kind of make sense, and I feel like they need to mirror each other a little bit just to kind of give you that cohesion. And especially because you wanted a dark color, I thought, okay, well, let's go ahead and take the molding that we used downstairs in the living room, because I did add that to the walls. I don't think I pointed that out, but I added the molding to the living room. And so I wanted to add it up back here again. I went a little bit more detail on the chair rail right here, just very, very subtle, nothing major, but I'm so happy with how it turned out because it almost killed me. I was like, do I need to repaint this room? Which I will never be repainting this room, you guys. If we're moving and the realtor tells me, oh, you know, real estate value, no, they're getting a red room. So I found this vintage flag I just found on a recent trip while I was looking for items to style this room. I am doing the 1 room challenge again, and this is the room that we're doing. And so I found this. It is a 48-star flag. And so I think I saw that it's anywhere from 1920 to 1949 or 59, somewhere in there. And it was really, really dirty. So I washed it 3 times and I got it as clean as I could, but I still want that vintage feel. So we left a little bit of the dirt on it and tell some of its story. And then the world's tiniest closet exists right here. It's very small. I don't know the contents of it, so we're not going to open it, but it basically goes to right here, and that's it. And we got to, you know, put everything we can in it. So then I found this beautiful piece from Goodwill. This was a Goodwill find, if you can believe it, the color that it is. A lot of my furniture that I find, unfortunately for my vision, I'm like, oh, I need to refinish that. And that is another thing on the to-do list. And so when I found this and I didn't have to touch it, I was so happy. It's like, we're just gonna put it here. We're just gonna enjoy it and let it be the way it is. And yeah, I love the character of this. It's just, how can you not like character, you guys? It's so pretty. And then again, another thrifted piece of art, some Christmas trees. The boys' Christmas tree, we lend itself more to the red and the browns. And Nutcracker obviously is a little bit of a theme that we have carried throughout here. And you know, the girls get to decorate their tree, the boys get to decorate their tree, and we have a good time. And I love the twinkly lights at night especially. I just think that is the most amazing, just cozy feeling. And then the boys' beds, what a really actually cool story about these, I found one of them, my son just needed a bed for this room because he had been sleeping on the floor in my mom's house. And so we realized that he needed a bed when we came here. And so I found this for $25 on Facebook Marketplace, but it was the honey maple color that you would see in like the 90s, 2000s. And I said, oh, that's fine. We're just going to use it as a placeholder. But then when we went to the local restore, I found the exact same one, same color, $75. So for $100 for 2 beds, I was like, okay, we're keeping them. So I went ahead and bought them. I just thought that that was so cool. And then I refinished them, sanded them down, and you can use a gel stain. It kind of acts like a paint. So it's really neat because you don't have to go as hardcore with your sanding. And so I put that on, gave it the darker finish, sealed them up really good because they're boys. And now we have these beautiful beds with, you know, their nutcracker details and just super cozy, extra blankets to keep them warm. And then I just finished these shelves 2 days ago. I had put these shelves up with the corbels, kind of again emulating the pantry and the kitchen with the same open shelving. And my son saw them and he said, Mom, where am I going to put all my Lego, my new Lego for Christmas? So I guess we're going to have to move some of the books. But yeah, you know, he can showcase some of his favorite books and some of his favorite little Lego pieces and just, you know, make it feel more like home for him. I want the rooms to feel like an extension of the house, but obviously they're kids and it needs to still be a space where they feel at home in here. And so I was with him along the whole journey and the girls of, do you like this? Do you like that? With a little bit of a guidance, of course. And so, yeah, so then we found this piece at an antique store. And that's actually what kind of lent the room to where we were taking it, is because we already had the red color, but that's the only vision I had. And then when I saw this, I was like, oh, let's kind of go for that like Ralph Lauren Americana feel. And I feel like we kind of did it, you know, a little bit, but there's still some things I need to add. We are in the middle of this makeover, but we added some beautiful curtains, the pleating. It's so funny because if you say pleating, you just think like, I don't know, like an older style, but it's coming back around and I just find it so sophisticated and I love it. I love it so much. And then for my son's birthday, because kids, you know, you get toys over the years and at one point you're just like, it's enough, like enough toys. And so for his birthday one year, you know, we took him out for his favorite restaurant. We did get him a Lego, don't worry. But I thought, let's get him a writing desk because he really likes to write and he loves stories and coming up with things. He's such a smart kid. And so we found this at a local store and I just think it's so pretty right under the window. And yeah, he has like his little things in here and just another thrifted chair. I just love the history and I love the character that these pieces have of, you know, who sat at this writing desk and who, you know, whose was this before and what did they do with it? I think that's so neat. And even the beds, you know, the one guy who gave us the bed that we knew his story, he said, this was my childhood bed. Like, it's just so cool. It's so cool. So I love it. And again, we just kind of mimicked what was on the other wall over here. And then I haven't done anything to this wall yet because I don't know if it's too busy. I was going to do a gallery wall, but I wasn't sure if it was too much. So I was letting it breathe for a second, kind of figuring it out. They could probably use more shelves. I really wanted to do bookshelves in here, but the way the beds worked, I wasn't able to make that happen. And I am thinking a little bit about the next person. I'm like, I don't really want to build something because this could have been a master. What happened was when we viewed this home, we saw the bedrooms and this had a blue rug and the girls had a pink rug. And I thought, okay, good, girls' room, boys' room, like done. And then we took the other room and I realized I'm like, wait, this is a really big room. This could have been a master bedroom, but it worked out. I love the two beds beside the windows. Again, 3 windows in this room. I love them. They're so beautiful, so much light in this room. He gets the morning and the afternoon sun and it's just a beautiful thing. And then the only thing I haven't touched in this room yet is the ceiling. So I actually am going to be working with a company called American Tin Ceilings, and I have beautiful tin ceilings. They're going to be like a antique brass copper color and just really pretty. I'm going to be putting those up hopefully this week, and that'll just complete the space. And I think it's going to be so cool. And kind of, again, just lending to that like Americana, like really like rich. I wanted it to be masculine, but not where, you know, it's not like a gentleman's club. It's still obviously a boys' room. But yeah, and then we did get this large rug. I worked with Revival again, and this is one of their washable rugs. It's not vintage, but these boys, they're boys. They like to tumble, they like to play, they love Lego. So this is full of Lego. That's got all the trucks. And so they've got the whole rug and the whole room to just kind of be at it and have fun. And I love it. And they do too, thank goodness, because that red was a pain, but I'm really happy with it. So I love to DIY and design myself. And I have had people say, you know, HGTV, or would you ever go and do this for other people? And honestly, it's probably bad, but I think I'm too insecure. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm actually that good. Part of it still just feels like I'm learning as I go. And so even if I design these spaces and I'm really happy with them and you guys comment and tell me I've done a good job, I still feel like, are you sure? Like Homeworthy reached out to me to come to my house and I said, did you have the right email? Because what an honor for people to think that the work that I do is actually that beautiful. And I still feel like I'm learning. So I don't know if there's a future there. I think maybe I need to trust myself a little bit more and what I'm doing is actually working out, but I'm definitely having fun and I'm open to what the future holds. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So home to me honestly just means safety. It means coziness. For me, it is also just memories. When I think of my home, I think of those good times. I am one of 7 And, you know, it could be chaotic at times, I'm sure, but what I really mainly remember is just all of us running in the front door. You throw your shoes off, you throw your bag off, and you just feel so at home. And it's, you know, mom in the kitchen making a snack, maybe dad's on the TV. not my husband. My husband doesn't watch TV. But it's honestly just being with family, and I think it's the most beautiful thing. And I pray that my kids can take that moving forward, that family means everything and that home is a safe place to land.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.